Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good morning. How you all doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the space. Right. I'm so excited to be with you here this week, diving into the embodied feminine, the divine feminine energies. So tune in. I'm just playing some music for us to dive in, take a few breaths, maybe move. Nice, nice, nice. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Beautiful. All right. Welcome, everyone, to our amazing day into the divine feminine energies today. And I would love to welcome you here. If you are here for the first time, welcome. You can say where you're from, all that good stuff, what brings you here. And yeah, I'm so excited to be here with you and talk about this. This is one of my favorite things to share, to live, to breathe, to dance, to embody. So really honored to be here with you. Use the chat. We have some of our team members there as well, our embodied fairies, Shirley and Sarah. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to ask them. If you want to get your workbook as well for the whole week, you can type in workbook in the chat and they will make sure to send it your way. It makes it easier to follow the material and also get your juices spinning and moving, right? And today we're going into this beautiful, beautiful topic. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to introduce myself first. My name is Marina Ijova Rex, and I am the founder of the Embodied Feminine, a place for women to be in sisterhood, to thrive. I love to support entrepreneurs as well into bringing their sacred gifts and all of who they are into the world. I've done it for myself, and I know it's possible for everyone else. So I had so much fun being in masterminds and working with my mentors for a long time now. I'm part of the Toltec Mystery School for almost a decade now, 9 years with them. And that's the School of the Four Agreements, where we truly get to unveil the fullness of who we are and let go of all these, stories and everything that stops us. If you haven't read the Four Agreements, it's an epic, life-changing book to start with. It's great. So that's my school of thoughts, as well as the Red Path, so the shamanic path of honoring the four directions, honoring the wheel of life itself. So you'll see how they all come through and play here. And I'm super passionate also about Tantra. I've done numerous Tantra trainings, so really passionate about how to bring pleasure and joy into this conscious journey of transformation as we are transforming, as we are healing, as we are rebirthing. How can we do that with pleasure, with joy, with ecstasy? So I'm so excited to share all of that with you today. So welcome. Let us know how we got here. Still waiting for a few people to hop on. And so we're going to talk about the embodied feminine, what that is and how that came about, and also the divine feminine energy. Like, we hear the divine feminine on the rise for the past, for at least 5 years. It's like this divine feminine energy. First of all, I want to say it is not gender specific. It's not just for women. That divine feminine energy lives in absolutely everything. It's in nature, it's in the tree, it's in the water, it's in the sky, it's all around us. It exists in men and women, whatever gender you associate with. And I found from my personal journey, I've gone through all these, battles and ferocious dances with both the masculine and the feminine. So right now I'm really excited to explore and share more of the conscious ways of dancing in it. That's how I met my divine partner, is by truly committing to my own sovereignty and questing, like diving deep into what that is. And today I'm going to show you the ways of, like, we all have these energies. You will probably relate to a lot of these aspects that I will talk about. Sometimes they're conscious, or they're coming from the conscious, from a sovereign place, and very often they're operating from a wounded place. So we're doing something in this, in spite of, or in a form of manipulation or anger or fear. When we set our needs or boundaries or ask for something, or call in our divine partner, very often we can come from a wounded place that needs to heal first, and then we can claim that sovereignty. We can claim that place of personal sovereignty and wholeness. That's when we start to really attract the people, your tribe, your soul tribe, your divine partner, your divine mission in this world. That is more of that alignment on a soul level, on a wholeness level. So hopefully you can relate. And, I went through a fair share of really hard relationships for me to quest this place of sovereignty and wholeness. As I'm diving into the feminine today, the divine feminine conversations, I want to share with you that the principles of, if you can just visualize, I'm not going to share any images today, but if you can visualize that there is the ground level, let's say a line, and there's above the line and below the line. Okay. So when I'm going to be referring to below the line, it's all these places of the unconscious places that we've exercised, and that's how we learn. We learn in and through duality. We learn through comparison and expression of these extremes first, to then come to this place of consciousness and balance. So in my life, like I said, in my previous relationships, I came very often from that place of having to prove something, feeling like I was not enough. And it came in a way of a lot of manipulation. So I would manipulate my way into the relationships, gaining what I wanted to gain from it. But that hole was never full because it was never healed. So the out of balance, the feminine that is not in balance, could be very manipulative. Okay. She'll use all kinds of techniques, and again, this is not just for women. It can be, you can see a lot of men have these traits as well. So the manipulation is one of them. Controlling, you have these women who are like really controlling. We're going to also mention a few archetypes. I want to invite in and play with some archetypes this week. So like the queen archetype is a beautiful archetype for women. But there's also the unconscious queen, right? That can be very demanding, very selfish. It's all about, me. What am I getting out of it? And instead of stepping into the conscious aspects of the queen and representing more of what is the best for my whole tribe, what is the best for us, where is the win-win-win for all, right? For your partnership, for your tribe, for your community. So there are a lot of these dynamics that can escape us and go into the unconscious ways. The unconscious feminine can get demanding or bitchy. You probably met someone who bitches all the time, right? It's like a Chihuahua dog who's just like, wah, 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 never happy, never enough. So that's an aspect of that unconscious feminine that will complain and bite and criticize others and put other people down in order for her to feel good. So that's all like the above the line I'm mentioning, and hopefully you can resonate with some of it. Yay, welcome here. Give me a little something in the comments. What do you feel about the divine feminine? What's your experience of it so far? Another aspect of that wounded feminine can be people pleasing. I think a lot of us can relate to that. I hope I'm not the only one. But it's that archetype also of the young girl, the maiden or the young girl in us that is eager to discover the world. I love that archetype, actually. The young girl is the one that goes, what else is possible, right? Everything is possible. What version of myself can I grow into? What else can I be? Can I discover? And the shadow piece of it is that she will tend to go into the people pleasing, or tend to fall into, being influenced by others very often. So not having that anchor, that strength in us, can be very destabilizing, right? So people pleasing. And another one that you can probably relate to, and later on in the week, we're going to go into these archetypes one by one. I'll mention them shortly. Another way is overgiving. We also have that mother archetype, or the great mother, right? In nature, when you are in presence of the great mother, if you're like standing in that Grand Canyon or the vast forest, or in front of the body of water, you can feel the vastness of that great mother, the benevolent mother that just loves you, nurtures you, scoops you up, no matter what you do, no matter, whether you upset her or you do something that's not quite right, she will always love you. So that's that aspect of the mother energy that is also really, really beautiful in the feminine. But when we do too much of that, over mothering can be, a bummer, can come and bite us. It's also not very sexy. So we'll talk more about the lover and the sexy aspect of the feminine. And the shadow piece of the lover is the seductress, that place of manipulation, seductress energy that we can all have. Again, men, women, I've had a fair share of it. That's how I got my satisfaction. That's how I was liked. Or my interpretation then was like, oh, if I can be loved and liked, then, my self-worth went up and my ego had a little boost there, but it didn't last. That's the piece. Whenever we are in that above the line, that unconscious wounded place, is that it's like that hungry wolf. In Buddhism, we have this expression of the hungry wolf. So the hungry wolf is just always wanting more of something. And there is never a place of satisfaction. So whatever it gets, whatever it encounters, whatever beautiful, people, men, women come into its life, it's never enough, because it comes from a wounded place of not enough, or something's wrong with me, or I'm broken. So we'll go and we'll get whatever that immediate need is. Welcome. I want to welcome a few more people here. Yes. Hi. Hello, Bettina. Hi, Darren. Hello. Welcome, loves. Thank you. Yeah. Spending too much time to people please. Absolutely. And only started to step away from that recently. Yeah, that people pleasing is such a big one. It's deeply ingrained in the culture too, depending which culture, of course, you come from. But I can relate to that. I was born in the USSR, so a culture that's very communist. So it was all about do the right thing for everybody else. We're seeing a little bit of that in North America now. Like, what do they say? Going along with what the narrative is. Being liked, not being judged, right? The shadow of that, the flip side of that, is not the fear of being judged. And we're going to dive more into that. That's why we call this whole week reclaiming, right? Reclaim your power and pleasure. So as we confront these shadowy pieces, areas of our life, wherever we are, we can definitely also tap into reclaiming what is ours, reclaiming what we thought we lost or forgot. We haven't exercised that muscle probably for some time. That's why it's not natural. It's not on autopilot. But whenever we're going to start to make these distinctions and just being aware, maybe sometimes we catch ourselves in this shadowy places where I gave too much of myself, or, I'm trying to please somebody. I'm not really pleasing myself. Questioning those places, what really brings me that pleasure and joy? What do I need right now? Right? So sometimes we catch ourselves a little bit later after the fact. And then I find that place, that timing for when we wake up and when we start to switch, that pattern starts to shorten. So sometimes if we catch ourselves a day later, maybe it's like right after the event, or right like the moment after, and then we can catch ourselves right as it comes up before opening our mouth and agreeing to something or doing something that you're not a full body yes to. We can course correct it right there and start exercising in new ways. All right, so those are the places. Yay. Okay, and then for how do we switch, right? So when we are aware, so I'm going to invite you to use your workbook. If you have your workbook, it's on page 1, the Divine Feminine Energy, right there. And you have all these places. So as I'm naming them, the mature conscious ways and the wounded and the shadowy places. So the shadowy places, again, are controlling, manipulative, critical, overgiving, and people pleasing. And there's probably more. Critical always goes to not just outside, but all of those things pretty much are not just whatever we say to the outside or to our partners, our tribe, our kids, right? But it's also the language we use with ourselves. So if you're critical towards the outside, you're probably critical to yourself as well, right? If you're people pleasing, then you probably also have that bar raised really, really high for yourself somewhere. So when we switch it up into the balanced feminine, right? When we go into the balanced feminine, the conscious feminine, the medicine in there is really understanding what is that divine feminine energy, like completely. Like let's just talk about what is the divine feminine energy. And if the masculine presence, the masculine is more of that. It's an amazing space holder. The masculine presence can hold space, and we can do that as women too. I'm sure you can do that and relate to that if you have children, for your kids. We can hold a lot of space without judgment. So the conscious masculine has that capacity to hold so much space, no matter what they do, whatever tantrums they have, emotions rise up, discomfort, right? We can hold that space. So if the masculine is a space holder, it also guides us. If we take that bird's eye view, the eagle, from that eagle's perspective, the masculine has that ability for clarity and guidance. And we're going to go more into that in the next couple of days. Actually, the masculine archetype that has the feminine energy as well is that goddess warrior. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow, more about that energy of how can you use that powerful feminine energy and direct it towards a goal, towards a specific task. So that's more of that huntress energy, the warrior goddess energy that can eliminate and cut through the stuff. So that's more of the masculine side. And the feminine it represents life. To me, it's like that life that is, if you look around, again, if you look out in nature, there's so much of it. I'm looking into the national forest here now, and I can see how there's just such an ecosystem with everything. There's chaos, you can call it chaos, but there's also great, great harmony that is orchestrated here. If we think about it as the bodies of water, for example, it can be the waterfalls, it can be the still lakes that are just quiet and peaceful, right? They can be bubbly hot springs, right? So, or waves of the ocean, watching the ocean is extremely healing, and it has a lot of that feminine energy. How she moves in different facets. The feminine, and again, when we talk about the archetypes or the goddesses, if we think about Kuan Yin, who is very, very peaceful and harmonious, you can just feel these beautiful, peaceful waves from Kuan Yin. But there's also the feminine archetypes and the goddesses that have that crazy strong energy, like Hathor, right? Sekhmet, Pele. We just got back from Hawaii, and Pele is so powerful. The goddess of volcanoes, the goddess of fire, right? She doesn't put up with any crap. She just has that ability to transmute, move that energy, kill something that doesn't feed you, right? Say no to that. Have stronger boundaries, right? She's unapologetic about herself, right? About her life. So all these goddesses come into play, and they're very different. There's the Mother Mary archetype, which is very nurturing. They're very motherly, of course. There's a Queen archetype, again, that rises above the circumstances and thinks beyond herself, right? But also surrounds herself with beauty, with grace, and taking time for rituals, for celebrations, right? For life, and pays great attention to detail around her. So let's go into the conscious feminine, into the mature or the conscious feminine aspect. The feminine is in flow and emotions, right? There are a lot of emotions and flow with the feminine. Now, it's a way we can embrace these emotions and flow with awareness and consciousness. So if I am feeling like, if I'm on my moon time and I'm feeling a little bit agitated or a little nostalgic or sad, right, or chaotic, am I going to honor that energy and ask my body what it needs? Maybe I can dance it out. Maybe I can do some yoga, but I take responsibility for what is going on in my body. Maybe I go for a walk. I take that responsibility to self-regulate, to do the work that I need to do to feel into my body, instead of projecting that on someone else and start criticizing how they made breakfast or, whatever stuff that is. So you see the shadow pieces are very external, very often will lash out at people, will demand something on other people. The balanced and the conscious way it comes from inside out. So it's taking responsibility for ourselves first and our emotions, our flow. I need to change my mind. I thought it was this, but I need something else. So responsibly, right? And honoring, if there are people involved, again, it's taking care of your tribe. It's making sure you have conversations with people that there's consent, there's agreements between us. The conscious feminine is also compassionate. She has the capacity for compassion and understanding that there is a story on the other side. I might have my own story about, an event or something that happens, and understanding that there might be a story from the other side as well. Connection. So it wants to connect. It's very circular, right? If we think about the feminine, it's circular. The masculine is more linear. The feminine is circular. So it's more inclusive. It has a broader perspective, right? Back in the days, the women were, if the men were the hunters, they were the warriors, the hunters, they would hunt the meat, the animals. The women were the gatherers. They would gather berries. So our eyesight is developed in such a way that we have that capacity to have a broader perspective on things. That's why when, there's a question that comes up with your kid, for example, with your child, or something that really, really matters to you, you have a more broader perspective if you're in the conscious feminine, right? So it's that place of compassion, broader perspective of things. She is nurturing, right? You probably, I hope and I trust that you have a sister in your life, or a grandmother or a mother in your life who has that loving, benevolent mother energy, that no matter what you do or say, they're just going to scoop you up and hold you and not judge you. I hope you had an opportunity to experience that benevolent feminine energy, benevolent, loving, and nurturing feminine. And that's what men love so much, in the right proportion. Because, if we overgive, and that's the shadow of the same element, right? That nurturing piece can be extremely powerful, extremely yummy. But if we overdo it and we try to do everything and overgive everywhere, because of the lack of something, we're trying to compensate for something else, and we try to give, we take that opportunity away from other people to step into that responsibility to take care of themselves. And if we become the crutch all the time, then that disempowers people. and that's not healthy. But I hope that nurturing feminine is present in your life, and you've had a chance to experience that. Hello, Tanya. Hi, guys. Awesome. All right. What else? She is vulnerable. So she's not afraid to really just say things as they are, scan her body, do a little, check in with herself, pause. If things are feeling a little odd, just taking a moment for yourself, saying, you know what, I need a minute for myself. I need to breathe. I need to tap into my body, my breath, and figure this out. What is going on? Maybe I need space. Maybe I need movement. Maybe I need to move that energy. Maybe I need to write stuff out, right, and create a plan. Awesome. Okay. I'm just reading some stuff. Yeah. So this is in the step one, right? The conscious and the unconscious. And that place of vulnerability is extremely, extremely powerful to me. I admire, I wasn't like this before. I totally was not able to really say, especially if I'm feeling vulnerable and low and something, or there's an insecurity. I was not comfortable disclosing that to the person that potentially, started that situation. And right now, leaning into that has been so, so amazing. I'm not saying it's easy, but it takes courage to tap in and to be able to, speak the thing that you don't want to speak, right? Speak what is like over here. Very often it lives in this throat chakra, right? Or the heart. Very often the two are, there's a connection. We'll feel a heaviness in our heart or our gut, our belly as well. But there's a connection between the heart and the throat where we're so afraid to speak that. Because again, why? The conditioning, right? The conditioning of our society, of families sometimes, don't cry. If you cry or if you say something that you don't like, it was not welcome. Again, certain cultures, it's not welcome. Even to say no is not appropriate in some cultures. We have a great mantra that came out from a Flowlands community in Montreal. And the saying was, when I'm saying no to someone, I'm actually saying yes to myself. So it's been so beautifully ingrained in me. And the more I started to lean into that and practice that, the more the vulnerability became that bridge, speaking the things that I was like really afraid to share with people, afraid to trigger them, afraid to, spark something or hurt them. It was like that became the bridge to bring us even closer, to be more intimate, to be more honest with each other. And very often that thing that you're afraid to speak, they're feeling that too, that there's something is off. It's not 100% yes. So leaning into these conversations and being vulnerable is an aspect of the healthy, the mature feminine. She's got warmth, so she's warm. She is yummy. She's understanding. So again, that compassionate and understanding aspect. Later this week, so these are it. There's the conscious and the wounded, right? So you can have them in your workbook. You have a clear line in between the two, and notice when you go on the other side of the line. Just notice that. So for this week, I'm inviting you to embody that conversation, embody that divine feminine conversation with all its aspects. We're going to go into the archetypes as well, and I just want to walk you through the archetypes that we're going to go and dive into, so that tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going to go into the warrior goddess. So that's probably one of the most masculine archetype of all. And she's got that ability to focus and to hunt and to track and to eliminate, right? Yes. So that's warrior goddess. Then we have the lover. On Wednesday, we're going to talk about pleasure and reclaiming your pleasure. So very feminine is how we can use that lover energy in the way that feels safe for you. A lot of women, it has not been safe for us to express sensuality or sexuality, right? So we're going to tap into that conversation of unpacking the lover in you, because she can be so delicious. She is so yummy. And if used appropriately in places, she can also be very healing for the community, for the tribe as well. Then we're going to go into the wild feminine. So in there, we're going to talk about the wise woman, the witch, and the queen as well. And then on Friday, we're going to write a new story. So right now, I'm just, stirring out the conversation for you is, what are some of those aspects of the feminine that you would like to bring in more, that you would like to embody more? So the I'm going to have home plays for you at the end of the day. At the end of the live, like you watch the video, I always think that to really live this information more, so it doesn't just stay here as a concept, but you can invite it into your life. You can start practicing it through your actions, through your thoughts, through your feelings, right? Is to play with it. So the question for you for today is, what aspects of that embodied feminine that you are feeling called to right now? It can be something that I mentioned from above. It can be being more vulnerable. Hopefully some of you are daring to do that, right? Or being more mature with my emotions, being more responsible with my flow and my emotions, right? Or being more nurturing, so whatever. Or some of us want to use and call in that huntress energy, the warrior goddess energy, right? To be more productive, to be more impactful in our life, right? So this is the question for you for today, is what aspect of the feminine that you want to play with? Yay. Yeah. That's what I say. Vulnerability. Yeah. Tanya, vulnerability is a big one. Yeah. Vulnerability. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm not going to stay here for too long. I'm going to keep these lives under 30, 40 minutes. I'll try to stay within 30 minutes. And hopefully we can see you tomorrow for the day 2, which is going to be on that warrior energy, the goddess warrior. And let us know if you have any questions, if you need any support, if you just want to brainstorm some stuff of what you think about this conversation we just had. You are welcome to do so. And I would love to get in touch on a personal level too. All right. Love you all and have a blessed, blessed day. Bye, everyone.